Hello, my name is John Rosebush. This will be the 10th video that I produce for Powering the Planet. This video is going to cover my credibility specifically. It's also going to talk about the future oil reserves and should we trust them. And finally, we're going to talk about the new energy invention that I created and its capabilities. And then we'll cover a few other various topics. So let's start out with my credibility because that seems to be in question. So let's talk about it. I'm 58 years old. When I was 18, I joined the military, and I was in the 82nd Airborne for 3 years at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Next, I went to college, a little junior college for 2 years, and then finally went to Ferris State for a year. And I graduated with a 4-year degree in IT with a 3.87 grade point. Next, I went to work for an oil company, and I worked for one of the top 7 major integrated oil companies in the United States for 25 years and retired at 50. So I could work on this new energy invention. Then I worked for the last 8 years on this new energy invention. And I actually came up with an invention that has the ability to power this planet many, many times over. Actually, it has the ability to create between 500 and 1,000 terawatts of power on 80% of the planet. Today, the planet produces about 20 terawatts power. So it really gives us the capability to do just about anything we could ever think of. It allows all the poor countries to no longer be poor because energy is wealth, and it creates so much energy, anything is possible, anything. Instead, what are we doing? We got this race to the top going on, and China and India are installing 2 coal-fired power plants a week, every week. Their people can't even see. And India is about to surpass China. So that's where we're going. And, you know, we got all this wind energy that we say. Well, guess what? The wind energy creates about 60 gigawatts of power right now. That's nothing. It's absolutely nothing, yet it's getting all the attention. And solar, they say, has reduced its cost by 80%. So what? It doesn't produce that much energy. We can't store it. And so if the sun don't shine, it doesn't even every day produce power. Same with wind. And that's only producing about 60 gigawatts of power. Think about it. We could install solar panels on every single roof in the world and not even be able to power the houses and our plants, etc., in the world. Because one solar panel on your roof doesn't power your house. You need assistance. So the idea that we're going to continue down this path with solar and with wind is completely crazy. Now let's divert our attention to oil reserves. Right now, we count on the Middle East estimates for oil reserves. Saudi Arabia hasn't updated their reserves in 20 years. We don't know how many reserves are underneath most of those countries. These are wild guesses that we have going on. So right now, we're saying 50 years left, right? 50 years, and I've covered this in other videos. Well, maybe it's only 20 or 30. We don't really know for 100% sure. We try to make educated guesses, but they could be way off. Now, 50 years, you go, wow, that's 50 years. So, you know, that's a long time. Well, don't forget that 30% of the oil used in the United States is for products. So if we use up all their own, we find another alternative energy source. Guess what? We better find something for plastics, for asphalt, for roof shingles, and for all the products, and there's lots of them in a modern society. That's what makes a modern society. Imagine going in the grocery store and there'd be no plastics in there. What in the world would we do today? So this is what we're facing. These are the challenges we're facing. You know, just the other day you had on MSNBC to talk about energy. Well, he covered it, you know, just minute. He might as well not even studied energy. What he had to say meant nothing. And he talked about the oil companies and all the other stuff. It doesn't make sense. This new energy invention I created, we could completely convert our entire planet in the next 30 years. We could be completely off fossil fuels, except for maybe airlines and some large marine ships and, you know, maybe some railroads, etc. But all the transportation vehicles, as far as cars and trucks, even the semi-trucks, everything would be off it. We'd be off coal. We'd be off natural gas, except for like homes and stuff like that. But as far as the power plants, for 80% of the planet, completely off. We could actually create enough energy in the next 30 years also to build desalination plants around the world for fresh water, because that's another huge issue that we're having. You even look at fracking. Fracking is destroying our clean aquifers all over the world, and the world is starving for energy. So instead of paying any attention to me, which doesn't make a bit of sense, because let's go back to my credibility. I haven't asked anybody for a penny. So either I must be the dumbest scammer in the world, or maybe what I'm saying is true. Now, the energy companies don't want this to happen. I don't know. I have no idea why. I guess they care about their profits more than they do mankind's future. Same with utility companies. And even the coal. We have coal ash spread everywhere. It's polluting all kinds of stuff. And the coal burning power plants are just polluting the heck out of the third world countries, because they're trying to keep up. All these things are not making any sense. Again, I talked about it in other videos, but 80% of our planet could be completely converted to alternative energy. If half our world converts over to alternative energy and the other half don't, we still have the same issues. If 2/3 of it and a third don't, we still have the same issues. And don't forget, when people run out of energy completely, we're going to have nuclear wars in the end. People are not going to stand by while people in their country starve, in other countries are thriving. It's just not going to happen. And it will happen within countries and country against country. This is completely insane. I can't get an audience. Doesn't make any sense. I pleaded everything else. It just don't make any sense. So we've talked about my credibility. We've talked about the power invention. Let's talk about some of the future alternatives besides solar and wind. They have these ICF programs. Now, earlier in another video, I said mechanical. I meant magnetic. For 4 gigawatts of power. Guess what? For 4 gigawatts of power, we're spending $15 billion in 20 friggin' years to see if it even works. These things are not making any sense. My new energy invention is ready to go tomorrow. Matter of fact, over the last month and a half, I have figured out ways to implement this much easier than what I did before. It's actually a cakewalk now to implement this technology. And you know what? It can be refined very quickly through prototypes, especially if we come together as a planet and cooperate with one another and quit this race to the top. China, India, United States, Europe, South America, Africa, Russia, we need to come together as an entire planet and solve this for our children and grandchildren. We are creating a dead world. And what I mean by a dead world is a world without any carbon resources. And when they're gone, we'll burn up our natural resources like wood for energy, because we'll have to turn to something. So that's where we're headed, and we know it. We know it as a planet. And I still can't get attention. I wrote the President of the United States a letter. I've in all kinds of videos, GE knows about me for sure. As soon as I talked about them, they took one of their antennas off, like they're bothering me, or oh, don't follow him. But I'm sure they're looking at what my videos. And then seeing as they haven't even responded yet, there's about 200-300 views of my videos from Germany. So they're looking at it. And Russia's looking at it strongly. All these scientists are saying, gosh, is this guy for real or not? And they're trying to figure out what I did. Well, you know what? I have solved it. I'm 58 years old. I got nothing to gain. Let me tell you something. I did this for my children and grandchildren. And I am pretty damn smart, because you know what? The rest of the world hasn't had a new energy breakthrough since 1951, when we had a nuclear breakthrough on our nuclear plants. Besides that, the only thing we're doing is covering things that we've already invented. We've improved our damn technology. We've improved our nuclear technology. We've improved things. But you know what? This new energy invention I've created completely changes the landscape of the entire world, changes the way we think about energy. I can create a terawatt of power in one small site. One small site. And there's 50,000 places where this new energy invention makes sense around the world. I could show India, China, and the United States in 2 small sites how to power the entire country. We would not implement it that way, but I could show them. That's how powerful this thing is. And I can't get them to pay any attention. And you know what? It would bring the world together. Oh my God. The greatness of what this world could be is just unbelievable. Just imagine a whole world with so much power it didn't even know what to do with it all. Energy to do anything that we think could be possible we could do. You know, but it does change a lot of things, because I believe we can do this for 10% of the cost. All I need is these countries to come together. What do you got to lose? I haven't asked you for a thing. So you must all just be little scared little chicken shits, and I'm going to say chicken shits, because what you're doing is you're hiding behind your money and you're hiding behind your little industries, and you're not coming to attention to the world. And that includes the leaders of the world, the company, the leading industrial companies of the world, all of you. You know, even hydrogen. You know, hydrogen boosts like it's some big energy source. Well, you know what? It doesn't create energy. It takes energy to produce hydrogen. And right now, the only way they can produce any mass amount is through carbon. So if this is how you all want to be, then you know what? I can just keep this quiet, and you can go on continuing what you're doing. China and India, you can build your 2 coal-fired power plants a week. And Pakistan, you can do the same. And the United States can act like they're making big strides with maybe a 10% reduction. And in the next 50 years, we can have an apocalypse that will destroy mankind completely. Now, that is where we're headed. And even these future oil reserves that we're talking about, they're wild guesses. The major integrated oil company I worked for ran one of the largest oil fields in the United States, and it went dry so fast you wouldn't believe it once the pressure come off the field. So, you know, we don't really know. And we're you know what we're doing? We're counting on a bunch of Middle Eastern countries that hate us. And this does not make sense for this world, and for the scientists and for all the people in this world to count on some wild guesses. And I blame all of you, the oil companies, the large countries of the world, all of you. And you're not even telling the people of this world. You talk about climate change like that's the big issue, which all of you know powering the planet is the big issue. Because climate change, we could get used to anything over time. But guess what? We will not get used to running out of fossil fuels. And you know what that would do. It would lose all our transportation, over time our electricity, everything. And this world would completely destroy itself. So you keep talking about climate change like that's the big issue, but we all know powering this planet without fossil fuels is the most critical issue facing mankind. So I'm going to let you go. I hope that people watch this video. My problem is I can't get the attention of people, again, that don't make sense. Is my credibility intact? You dang right it is. So I hope somebody picks up on this and the media picks up on it, and we go forward with a plan to save our children's future. Thank you very much.